They were egging him on to slice him and dice him and all that. And I was so stupid back then. I mean, they were messing with my program.
Did you step in the middle of
I
Gayle?
busted through, went up, took the knife away and said,
they were like, oh no.
Go home. You're ruining our plans. We have all this to do. My name's Gayle Hall, and I've lived here since March of 2023. And I smile a lot, and I think that's why Mr. Banu decided I should be an ambassador here at the village. And I assist the administration in meet and greet meetings for new residents once a month, where we talk about the 2 pages of things I wish I'd known when I first moved in here. And we've made a printout and we give it to the new residents, and it helps them navigate everything at the village a little bit better. And then I also conduct the monthly resident council meetings, whereby the residents that live here have an opportunity to express their concerns, complaints sometimes, and then also what they think has been going right with all the different departments, with Fox therapy, dining, maintenance, housekeeping, activities, and care.
Now, we heard that you had a really interesting first job. Can you tell us a little bit about what you did and what that was like?
I did. I went to work for Texas A&M University for the Agricultural Extension Service in 1975. And it was in a federally funded program that taught low-income children about nutrition and proper eating habits. And my first office was in the basement underground of the Chalmers housing project in
why was it underground?
In East Austin. That's where it was. We had an office. There was one other professional and me, and then we had 20 paraprofessionals. And I had one paraprofessional that I supervised, and I was only 22 years old, and she was 56. So that was interesting. But every Monday morning, we had to sweep off and hose off human debris and feces, because the homeless would go in there to sleep.
Aww.
Because the concrete wall provided a barrier from the cold or the wind or whatever. So you never really think much about that. And when my dad visited me in the first month I was there, he wanted to take me out of there. He didn't want to leave me. But my job, my paraprofessional and I, we walked door to door in East Austin and South Austin saying, hi, I'm here from Texas A&M and we have a free program for you, and don't you want to enroll with your kids? You couldn't pay me to do that today.
What made you stay back then?
I loved it. Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Aww.
And I had a brand new car. It was a Ford Mustang hatchback. And the gangs, there were gangs, and the people in the low-income communities knew that was my car, and they didn't mess with it. And the poor paraprofessionals drove beat-up jalopies, and they'd come out and find tires gone, batteries gone, alternators gone, you know, just such damage. And that brand new Mustang was sitting right there against the curb.
That's gotta feel so good that you were making such a positive impact on the community.
It was, and it was sad because we would have camps, week-long camps in the summer for the kids to come to, and we'd have different stations that they'd go to, learning to make different dishes. And I always remember one was a tango shake, and used Tang. Remember the drink Tang?
Yeah.
Can you remember that?
I've actually tasted it.
It was a powdered orange drink, and then powdered non-fat milk, and made a little milkshake out of that. And the kids loved that. They thought that was good. And we had to be real careful because, you know, we had knives and things like that. And so we always had to be count up to make sure we had all our equipment and that nothing was taken. And one time in South Austin, someone took one of my sharp knives and took it home and brought it back the next day and got into an altercation with another boy, 2 boys, and he was going to stab him and everything.
How did that get resolved?
Well, all the people that were there, the kids, formed a circle, and they were egging him on. They were egging him on to slice him and dice him and all that. And
Gross.
Adults that weren't working came from the front porches. They always sat outside because it was cooler. They didn't have air conditioning, and they were egging it on. And I was so stupid back then. I mean, they were messing with my program.
Did you step in the middle of
I
them, Gayle?
busted through, went up, took the knife away, and said,
They were like, oh no.
"Go home. You're ruining our plans. We have all this to do." And
Miss Gayle, as a 22-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you were incredible.
and then I had to call my supervisor and tell her that we'd had this. And all I could say was, they were all, and she kept saying, "They were all what, Gayle?" I said, "Black. They were all black people. I was the only white person there, and my supervisor was black."
Uh-huh.
And she just started dying laughing, and she says, "Well, I don't think it resolved fine, but I don't think that was the best thing you should have done, because you could have really gotten hurt."
What did she say? Did she say what to do instead in that situation?
Call the police.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
Well, in hindsight, knowing, like looking back and seeing how it resolved with you being okay, I think it was much better
yeah.
for you to have stepped in between.
Well,
them
and
then.
I developed some street cred with the rest of the kids. It was just like, don't mess with her. That she's a really nice lady, but till you make her mad, and then when you make her mad, watch out. She'll just take a knife away from you.
Duly noted, Miss Gayle. I'm never gonna make you mad.
And there was one other thing that was so funny, was I had an address of 709 East 14th Street. And I couldn't find it, and there was 13th Street, and then a street without a sign, and then 15th Street. So I turned around and I went back to the street without a sign, and it should have been the second house from the corner. And there were all these men playing cards in the circle and smoking and drinking beer, in the morning. And so I got out of the car and I said, "Is Mrs. Smith home?" And they looked at me and they go, "There's nobody here named Mrs. Smith." And I went, yes, she's expecting me. I'm from the extension service and everything." And they started laughing at me and they said, "No, there's nobody there." And I said, "Well, is this 709 East 14th Street?" And they go, "No, ma'am, it's 709 East 13th and a half. 13th and a half Street." So I said, "Oh, sorry." So I got back in my car real quick and went one more block, and she was waiting on me. But that's why I say, today I would not go in the neighborhoods that I walk the streets door to door cold call knocking without an automatic machine gun.
Oh God!
Because they're so dangerous now, But
Well, you were a confident woman back then. I feel like you're still a confident woman these days.
Thank you. But I ended up working 34 years for the extension service for 4-H. And
Can you tell us a little bit about what the extension service did? Like, what were the programs like?
well, we taught life skills to
Okay.
kids 9 to 19, and so that was leadership, working in a group, understanding yourself, making and managing decisions, and one more, able to get along with others. And so we had different lessons that taught that, and we did it through the use of animals and food and nutrition and financial things. But we get most of our publicity still with the animals, because you hear about 4-H'ers showing their animals at the stock shows and selling them for big money and all of that. And that does happen, but that's just a few of most of our enrollment were in the urban areas doing nutrition, money managing, learning to make budgets and write resumes, and learning leadership skills.
Well, I have very much enjoyed my time getting to know you a little bit more
Great.
on a scale.
Great.
Thanks so much for talking with me today.
You're welcome.